how to set up VCAs on a Dorani NVR. VCAs like video analytics, like line crossings, face detection, things like that. So first off, all these videos are based on the new firmware. So if you don't already have a firmware that looks similar to this, feel free to go ahead and watch the video on how to upgrade your NVR and get onto the same system as what we're using here today. So basically just need to log in to the NVR. And over here we'll have the VCAs. Now across the top is a listing of all the options that are available on our cameras. Each one of these is available on every one of our cameras. So face detection obviously picks up a human face. Intrusion detection is picking up motion in a predefined area, crossing a line. Audio detection, some of our cameras do have an audio feature that's applicable for those. People counting, you can count people obviously coming in and out of a door. Defocus if the camera goes out of focus. Scene change, this is a very good one. If a camera gets moved or changes its base picture, then it will send off an alarm. We have auto tracking, that's available on some of our larger PTZs, and object left behind, object removed. So we'll go ahead and set a couple of these up. So face detection, first thing you need to do is just enable the face snapshot. So we'll tick that there, and then we can choose the area that we want for that detection to occur. So we can choose full screen, which means full screen obviously, or specific area. We can choose an area just by this box here, or we can draw an area. So we'll just go full screen. Sensitivity is how big that picture needs to be on the screen, how many pixels it needs to be. So you can set this according to your situation where the camera's been installed. And trigger actions that we have. Now we can choose what we want to happen when that camera picks up a face. We can have an internal buzzer go off on the NVR. We can have it send an email if that's been set up for you, but these also have push notifications. Pop-up window means that an information page will pop up on the screen defining what the VCA was. So we can choose what camera that we want to record. So up the top it'll tell you what camera we're on, and we're on camera 2. So we'll choose to record camera 2. A go-to preset, we can have another camera if we had a PTZ go to a specific region, a preset spot, if we have one set up on the installation. Preview, here we can have a specific camera pop up full screen on the page. So if camera 2 picks up a face, we can have camera 2, no matter what the screen is doing at the time, if it's on multi-view, it will show camera 2 up full screen. We choose any camera that we like. And alarm outputs. Certain NVRs and certain cameras do have outputs, so you can fire off strobes, lights, whatever you need to do if you have those features and those things set up on your NVR. So we'll just set up a buzzer on this one for now, and recording for camera 2. Making sure we apply every time we leave a page, and OK. Iming Schedule, we can choose when we want this camera to look for faces. It's preset as around the clock every day of the week. So what we can do is if we want to change that, we can change the start and end times. Now we can have obviously multiples throughout the day, and we can copy to one, copy to all for days depending on when we want this camera to detect a face. So I'll just leave it as the way it is now. So it's all day, every day, it will search for faces. So the minimum pupillary distance is effectively how many pixels the picture or the face needs to use up on the screen. So by reducing or minimizing this, we can change the sensitivity. So we set for 100 pixels, that's a minimum size of the face that it will detect on the screen. So this one here is, you need to play with it a little bit to suit your installation. It's not a predefined amount, it all depends on where your camera is installed, what distance it's looking at, and how close the objects are to the actual lens. Once everything's finished, we just hit apply. Now face detection is one of the larger algorithms of the camera. So if you have face detection on, you can't actually have any of the other VCAs turned on for that one camera. You can turn them on for other cameras, it's not the same camera. You can have intrusion detection, line crossing, and scene change all on one camera, not a problem. But face detection effectively takes up all the smarts of the camera. So it's either this one, or you can have a multitude of other ones if you like. So once that's done, all we need to do is set off that camera. And as you can hear, that set off a buzzer on the NVR as we asked it to do. If we go into VCA search now, there is a face that is taken there. And we can choose to play, or we can choose to back up directly from here if we like. Moving on from face detection to another camera. Intrusion detection is another one we can set up. So again, first thing you need to do is enable the detection. And we need to draw areas. You can have 4 different areas on each camera that you wish to detect an intrusion for. So if we draw an area, we'll just pick a spot in the driveway. It doesn't need to be a square, it can be any shape you like. And what we do here is just choose the trigger actions. So we can have it set off a buzzer. We can have it record any camera that we like. We'll choose all. We can specifically just make it record camera 3 if we like, which is the one that we're actually setting up the intrusion detection for. And go to preset, we went through that with the face detection. Preview, again, I can choose a specific camera to come up full screen, and alarm outputs if I have those on my system, if I have those on my NVR or on specific cameras. Making sure we apply. Now for the rule 1 down here, I can choose the sensitivity, effectively how much motion needs to occur inside this square, or inside this shape, for it to trigger an event. The time threshold, up into seconds, so I can choose how long something has to be inside this area for it to send off a notification. So I'll put it down for 2 seconds. Basically means something needs to enter this area here and stay there for 2 seconds before it will send off an alarm. Good way to reduce your false alarms. And percentage down here, how much of that area needs to be occupied before it will send off an alarm. So on this setting here, we've got medium sensitivity. That's all related to how much motion is going to occur inside this field. So an object needs to come into this area for 2 seconds and occupy 26% of that area. So that's about yay much. Could actually send off a trigger. I'll move it back down for the moment. If we hit apply, that is now a VCA set up outside. So line crossing is very similar. Line crossing very similar to intrusion detection. Again, we just must hit enable and we can draw a line. So we'll pick a line anywhere on that screen. So this here will basically get anybody coming in or out of the driveway. And again, we choose the trigger actions for that event. We can set off the buzzer. We'll have it record camera 3, which is the one we're working on. And as per intrusion and face detection we went through, the go-to preset preview and alarm outputs are also available for this feature as well. We hit apply there. Now what we can do is we can choose the trigger direction. So if we only want to maybe getting cars coming in but not leaving, we can change the direction of that arrow. So now the motion must start on this side and move across the line this way for it to trigger an event. If the motion starts from this way and goes back over the line, it will not trigger an event. We can reverse that arrow, make it go the other way, or having it go both ways. Again, sensitivity comes down to how much motion must occur across that line to send off an alarm. Again, this is not a predefined amount. This all depends on where your line is, what sort of picture it's looking at, and how long your line is as well. It's one of those ones you need to kind of have a bit of a play with and get it correct for your installation. So we have audio detection, which is available on cameras with a microphone. What we need to do is just enable here and apply. And we can choose what sort of audio that we're listening for. So we've got a sudden rise, a sudden fall, a sudden change, or hitting a threshold, a predefined amount. So we can choose, again, it comes down to the installation environment. You can set the threshold and test as to what's applicable for your area and your installation, what your threshold is going to be and what's going to set it off. We'll go with a sudden rise. And again, it comes down to the trigger actions, all the same as what we've been through before with the line cross, intrusion and face. You can set those up depending on what you're after and what you need. And Iming Schedule again is exactly the same. So once that's done, ticked, apply, and the audio detection is set up. Now, people counting are made for specific cameras or specific mounting options. You really want a camera to be mounted above a door, looking directly down, because it does work on like shoulder width. Okay, so if we enable shoulder demarcation, you've got to imagine this looking down over a door. So if this is a doorway, the TV I've got here, we can set the shoulder width for the person walking through. Okay, so this is good for shops or factories. If you need to count how many people are coming in, you can break this down by the hour or by the day, work out who's walking in and what times people are coming into your business. Again, we can choose if you want people coming or going or both ways. So a defocus detection is good for cameras, especially motorized cameras. If the cameras do go out of focus, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can have that send an alarm as well. So we can just quickly enable that. Trigger actions, we will have it record. So we're on camera 3, we'll have it record camera 3 and apply. So basically, if that camera goes out of focus in any way, and you can choose the sensitivity, how much focus it needs to change by. If it does go out of focus, frost can do that to a lens as well. That there will send off a notification so you're aware if the camera is not picking up what it's supposed to be looking at. A scene change detection is quite a good one as well. So if we've got the 4 megapixel fixed, if we enable the scene change, what happens is the camera will take a snapshot, effectively what it's supposed to be looking at. So when it's installed, it'll take a picture, and that's its base picture. So it doesn't matter if motion comes in and out of that picture, as long as the main frame stays the same. If the main frame does change, then that camera, if the main frame does change, that camera will send off an alarm saying it's been moved. Auto tracking, it's only available on the PTZ cameras, and that is a whole separate video on the setting up of the PTZ camera, the auto tracking. So object left behind, these are always a good one, and object removed. So obviously this is the frame that the camera is looking at. If something is added to this frame or removed from this frame, the NVR will send off a notification. So if we have object removed, we'll enable that, and we'll draw a line. So we'll just draw a line around this box. And we'll have trigger actions, so we'll have that set off a buzzer, and we'll have it record camera 2. We'll just apply that there. And Iming Schedule, same as all before, we can set when we want this to actually perform these functions. Again, sensitivity, we can set it like a larger area. I can set this entire area and set the sensitivity. So if this big box goes missing, it'll send an alarm, but if something small goes missing, it won't. And the time threshold, how long that has got to be missing for. So 5 seconds is the base. If I set it for 20 seconds, so if I pick it up and put it back within 20 seconds, it won't send off an alarm. So I'll leave it as 5 seconds and apply. So what is it? I'll go pick up that box. And that will trigger an alarm. So we can go VCA search, and this will search all the VCAs that we have set up. Now, there hasn't been much activity out the front, but I have done some previously. So in behavior, we can choose the camera and the type. So we'll have a look at all the cameras that we have, and we can break it down by line cross or intrusion. So if we hit search, this will send up a list of all the intrusion detections or line crossings that have happened. So again, we can choose to play those and back them up directly from here. Once all your VCAs have been set up on your Dorani NVR, you can go into the app and you can start setting up your push notifications. So just need to open up the app on your phone. Now at the top left-hand corner, select the menu button, the top three lines. From here, you just need to go down to alarm notifications. And down the bottom is allow notifications. So you just need to choose the device that you've set up that you want to get notifications for. So we'll just select reception here. And that will send notifications. Now we want to start limiting what sort of notifications we can get. We can go down to advanced settings down the bottom here. Select advanced settings, and reception was the MVR that we're working with. So from here, we can choose what cameras that we want to get notifications for. So we can have them all or none. You can have them from the NVR itself. Now the NVR can send you notifications if you've got IP conflicts or if the power goes out, things like that. It can send you a notification. Or you can pick specific cameras. We'll just have them all on for now. And you can choose what time that you want to get notifications for. So it sets to your time zone, and we can choose what time that we want to get notifications. So if you only want them at night time or during the day, you can limit them down and to what day that you want those notifications as well, just by selecting or unselecting those. And importantly, we'll just go across the type up the top. Now it's preset to send you notifications for everything at the start, and you can turn these on or off as you like. Now I don't normally recommend having motion detection push notifications, as if you have a look at your recording of your NVR, you'll find you have a lot of motion, which means that'll be sending you a notification every time it detects motion and every time it stops detecting motion. Ends up being a lot. So I tend to turn those off, and that's why I set up the VCAs. So they're all the line crossings, face detections that we've gone and set up in the NVR. We can leave those on. And it's up to you what you want to do with these ones here. So we've got the alarm inputs and the video loss, including tampering, and others such as the IP conflicts and other random parts of the NVR. So once we're finished, we hit save. And it's succeeded. So if we hop out now. Now these can take a few minutes to actually activate on the cloud. So we'll see here, this is now refreshing. So we've got a face detection there that's just come through. Now these, like I said, can depend, the speed of these notifications depend on how quick it connects to the cloud. Delete this bit. So here we have all the push notifications. So we can go on here and select and have a look at the recording of that push notification, see what's happening. So there we go. We've got a couple of guys out in the front office at the moment, and it shows my recording down here. So from here, I can choose to take another snapshot if I like, or I can take a short video of that event as well. So start recording and stop recording. So we'll put back. And we can go through and do all of those for all of these motions here. So we hit the top line up there. So pictures and videos. If we go into pictures and videos, these are the two videos and the pictures that I've just taken. There's one previously that I've done. So that one there, I can choose now what I want to do with that video that I've taken, that short video that I've taken. So down the bottom here, I can choose to message or mail to anyone I want to do there. And in my files, So if we OK, and now I can export those to my photo album on my phone. So they're now no longer stored on the app or on the cloud, they're directly stored onto my mobile device, or delete if I like. And that's setting up with the push notifications on your phone. So we'll start getting notifications through our phone. So if we just select that notification, it will take us to our alarm notification page where it shows you what the detections are here. So again, we can just go and select one of those and it will take us directly to the recording time and what's happened. And from here, from our playback, we can also choose just to go on to live view, and that will take us to the actual image, what's happening on that camera right now.